You want to see a liar?
I want to say it very clearly. I will not defund the police.
Lie.
I am in favor of defunding the police.
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt, who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Oh wait, another lie.
I was speaking about Zerafoui, my father's cousin.
Doesn't wear a hijab.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety.
Maybe he's telling the truth on this one. Oh wait, nope, lie.
The struggle for Palestinian liberation was at the core of my politics and continues to be.
I am not, and nor have I ever called for the legalization of prostitution.
You guessed it, lie.
You support decriminalizing prostitution?
Yes, my fundamental belief that work is work.
I would be happy to work with the president and the administration.
Lie.
We need to be doing here in our city is to end the chapter of collaboration between City Hall and the federal government.
I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech.
Lying again.
There are consequences for speaking up in favor of apartheid.
So just find out who you're voting for before you vote who you're voting for.
All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this because here go Scam Donnie, the one that lied to New Yorkers. And we made videos. I made a good bit of videos warning New Yorkers not to vote for this man, that he was just telling y'all a lie to get y'all vote. And now a whole bunch of Democrats is already regretting their vote for this guy. I showed y'all a video yesterday of Stephen A. Smith crying about it. Oh, pretty much, and I should never did this. Pretty much, that's if you really just sum it up, that's what he said. Van Jones didn't even like his speech, that he was just so mad going after President Trump. And by the way, President Trump did respond to Zohran Mamdani, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But now it's a lot of New Yorkers all mad, regretting their vote because they fell for the okie doke. Because this man talking about giving y'all free buses, government-run grocery stores, freezing your rent. It sounds good. It sounds good, but it's not going to happen. He just told you that to get your vote. I've showed y'all numerous of videos of New Yorkers getting on camera talking about, I voted for Scam Donnie because he's going to freeze my rent. We're going to get free groceries. We're going to get $30 an hour. All of that. He's not going to give y'all that. And not only that, this man made a video pretty much asking New Yorkers to send him money. So now he want New Yorkers to donate to him and his transition team. And if y'all didn't see that video, I'm about to get ready and show y'all. Not only that, Chuck Schumer got a new proposition and they still refusing to open up the government. And President Trump just went off. Not only that, him and Senator Kennedy went off as well. So please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video, man. I appreciate all of you that do that because it definitely helped get the message out there and it helped get President Trump's message out there. So please let me know that you stayed to the end of this video right here and you did hit that like button. Let me know down below in the comment section. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this. Now, before we start, I want y'all to listen to what David Rubin, had to say about all this, about, Zohran Mamdani humiliated as President Trump responds to his threat. So let's go ahead and start it off with this right here.
For 1,000 years, communism has not worked. Communism or the concept of communism has not worked. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time.
Here's Donald Trump on more hands on Mamdani.
I'm so torn because I would like to see the new mayor do well because I love New York. I really love New York. When I left New York for Washington, New York was doing really well, but there were some bad signs. The bad sign was a guy named de Blasio. So the signs of de Blasio, that was the beginning, and it was bad. This one, we're going to look. For 1,000 years, communism has not worked. Communism or the concept of communism has not worked. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time.
Did you see his victory speech?
Oh, it's literally never worked. Yeah, I thought it was a very angry speech, certainly angry toward me, and I think he should be very nice to me. I'm the one that sort of has to approve a lot of things coming to him, so he's off to a bad start.
That's a little of everything with Trump right there. First off, 100%, I believe he loves New York. He built his family, his fortune, his fame, all of those things as he was literally building the skyline of New York, right? At one time in the 80s and 90s, there was more Trump buildings than anything else, right? Less now for a series of reasons. But I do believe he loves that city, and I know for sure his kids love that city. And despite everything, as he points out, he doesn't want it to collapse. That's one part. The other part, of course, is that the speech, yes, it was very interesting to watch that acceptance speech because the speech was seriously angry and much more guttural and jihad-like than the soft lens. Smiley, I'm smiling, so, I'm a good guy, even though I'm going to behead all of you people. So yes, it was an extremely angry speech. And yes, Moron Zamdani might want to be a little nicer to Trump because Trump will control some level of the purse strings as it pertains to federal money that can go into New York. And we're going to have more on this in just a minute. We know that this mass exodus is coming. So we know it's about 1 million people that have left New York overall since COVID, right? And now it looks like around 700,000 people are going to leave New York City. So the very people that he wants to fund this thing via their taxes, they are fleeing. So it might be a doubly important reason not to go after the president because you want money to make stuff free. Here's a bit more on Trump's. Here's a bit more of Trump on Mohan Zamdani's speech.
At one point, he says, "Turn the volume up."
So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
How do you respond to that? Does that affect anything you're going to do?
It's a very dangerous statement for him to make, actually. And, you talk about danger. I think it's a very dangerous statement for him to make. He has to be a little bit respectful of Washington because if he's not, he doesn't have a chance of succeeding. And I want to make him succeed. I want to make the city succeed. I don't want to make him succeed. I want to make the city succeed. And we'll see what happens.
Did you see reaching out to him?
I would say he should reach out to us.
Yeah, I mean, he probably should, but he's going to try to make his entire career and sham of a personality about being the anti-Trump. Also, again, you hear...
Exactly, like the anti-Trump. That's what it is. Like, if I'm President Trump, I won't reach out to him either. That man said all of that in his speech, and then the next day, oh, I want to work with President Trump. We should talk. But then he get on a speech and talking all crazy about this man. Talking all crazy to President Trump. That's what I'm saying. See, here's the thing right here is what that just go to show you that Mamdani is a liar. So they asked him a question about him proposing free grocery, free buses, $30 minimum wage, which it does sounds incredible. Instead of him answering the question, he want to talk about who endorsed Cuomo at the time. It did just go to show you he was just running away from the question. Check it out.
Living here is top of everyone's mind. It has gotten obscenely expensive to live here, to do anything here. So you're proposing free grocery stores, free buses, $30 minimum wage, all of which sounds incredible.
Cheaper groceries, not free groceries.
Excuse me, cheaper groceries.
Now he want to say cheaper groceries, but why didn't he say that on the campaign trail? Because now you got New Yorkers saying that you said free groceries. This is what New Yorkers saying, not me. This is what New York is saying, that he's going to give them free groceries and all of this. Now, all of a sudden, cheaper groceries.
But what people want to know is, great, I would love all those things.
Yeah,
how do you pay for it? Who's going to end up footing the bill for those programs?
So I'll answer that question by first explaining some of the endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has received.
Endorsements.
Elon Musk's endorsement is one of the most expensive endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has ever gotten because it cost him and the state of New York $959 million in tax breaks that he gave Elon Musk years ago when he was the governor of this state. That's actually more money than it would cost to make every bus free in New York City. So I've said clearly that I believe we should tax the top 1%, an additional 2%, that's New Yorkers making $1 million or more a year, and have the most profitable corporations pay the same tax rate they do at the top tier in New Jersey, what they would actually pay here in New York. These things together would pay for the entirety of our economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city. Because as you've said, the endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has got, and this morning he started it by going...
So like I told you, this man is a freaking liar. Like I said before, everybody fell for the okie doke. Now, this video right here is exactly what really pissed off his supporters. Everybody that voted for him, oh, free buses, free this, free that. And then you turn around and talk about, hey, send me and my transition team some money. Donate to us. I mean, look at this right here by Eric Daugherty. It's a update. Zohran Mamdani shocks his supporters by admitting things cannot be free after he said they will be free. He said, and then this is what he said in the video, which I'm finna play for y'all, just in case a lot of you didn't see the video from yesterday, and I still urge everybody to go watch my video from yesterday. But if you didn't see it, he said, remember how I told you to stop sending me money? You can start again. He is one big scam begging the working class to fund his transition. So I want everybody to check this out. Now, I'm going to have to speed it up because I think some of this music that he's playing, it could be copyrighted. So to protect myself, I'm going to have to speed up the video. But check this out.
Good morning, New York City. Thank you. Last night we made history. And today we begin the work of making a new administration.
Oh.
Welcome to the transition. This is the period over the next few months where we build a city hall that delivers on the promises of our campaign, to make New York City affordable and to make government accountable to the people it serves. As we prepare to govern, we'll start announcing the leaders who will help implement our agenda. People like deputy mayors, who oversee entire areas of government, and the commissioners who carry out the critical work of city agencies. These appointments will be driven by excellence, integrity, and hunger to solve old problems with new solutions. Talking to organizers on the front lines of the fight to improve our city, government veterans with proven track records, policy experts from around the country and the world, and working people who know better than anyone what our neighborhoods deserve. And this will be a period, like the campaign we ran and the city hall to come, defined by transparency. Because New Yorkers deserve a government they can trust. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day, and a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again.
Wow, this man just started laughing, started smiling. You remember how I told y'all can stop sending me money? Because like I mentioned yesterday in the other video, he said you can stop sending me money because we found out that George Soros funneled him $40 million to help him win, to help him become mayor of New York City. So now since all that over with, now he's saying, you know how I told y'all to stop sending me money? Now you can start back. So now you asking New Yorkers to send you money, not only just you, but you and your transition team. And that let you know right there that this man lied to all of you. Everybody who was making them videos talking about, oh, I'm voting for Zohran Mamdani. He's going to give me free stuff. It's going to be free buses, government-run grocery stores. I'm going to get a $30 minimum wage. All of this stuff is a lie. He lied to you to get your vote. That's exactly what he did. So look at him, begging his supporters for money after promising them free stuff.
Of a government they can trust. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day, and a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and an infrastructure that can meet this moment. And it will be made possible by the people who built and believe in this movement. So I hope you'll make a donation at transition2025.com. Now let's get to work.
Wow. Absolutely insane. You know how I told you can stop sending me money, and now you can start back. And, you know, we show videos of a lot of New Yorkers who voted for this man is pissed off because they got bamboozled. How many times did President Trump get on camera and say, don't vote for this man? He's a communist. Don't vote for him. Don't do it. And they did it anyway. All why? Because they hate President Trump. And since they hate President Trump, they say, you know what? Since I hate President Trump, I'm going to vote for Scamdunny because Scamdunny is very critical of President Trump. He don't like President Trump. So I'm just going to vote for Scamdunny to try to make President Trump mad. No, you really just screwed yourself. Because this man lied to you. Ain't none of that stuff he promised you're going to get for free. It's not happening. It's not happening. And then look at this right here. By Tony Lindsay, he said Mamdani said that he's going to raise taxes on the rich. Zohran supporters said the man with the plan, vote Zohran. And then the governor said that's not within his power. So the stuff that he was promising them, it ain't up to him to, you know, to be able to do that. And then look at this. She said that's not within his power. It would tank the economy and destroy the middle class. I'm not doing that. So with, you know, Governor Kathy Hochul pretty much coming out saying that everything that this man promised on his campaign trail to New Yorkers is not happening. So y'all voted for this man for nothing. Just absolutely for nothing. So let's check out her, you know, talking about this.
We know that Mamdani does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, it's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about 1/3 of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about out-migration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle-class tax increases. I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my position.
We know that.
Wow. So Kathy Hochul just admitted that she's not doing anything that this man proposed. But it is funny that why didn't she say this while he was on the campaign trail? Waiting till after the election because they still wanted him elected. But she knew for a fact in the back of her head that she wasn't passing any of that. She wasn't going to do any of that. But she let him run on it because he tricked. And this is what Democrats been doing a year. They trick the American people. They'll trick them. They'll tell them everything they want to hear. And as soon as they get power, you ain't getting none of it. As soon as they take power, you ain't getting nothing. Now, even Byron Donalds. I've been showing this video the last couple of days because I've been wanting people to see what Byron Donalds went on CNN and said, pretty much warning New Yorkers why they shouldn't vote for this man. There is no free buses, just like there's no free lunch. You know what I'm saying? So Byron Donalds was warning people, but they decided not to listen. But check out what Byron Donalds said on CNN.
When you put in communist and yes, communist policies, that's what Zohran Mamdani is talking about.
He's not a communist.
It never
Democratic
works.
Socialist. He says he's Democratic
I can't tell what the difference is.
Well, he can describe
Explain what the difference is.
He can describe the differences for you. The socialism is not the same basis of communism in this country. You know that quite
The
well.
man
You
wants,
have an
the man
economic
wants to
background.
the man wants to create government-run grocery stores. He wants free transportation, both of which are impossible to do. Because how
You
is
know
he?
that
How is
communism
he?
is a trigger word to try to undermine all of his policies. He's not a. He says he doesn't.
I don't need to undermine his policies. His policies undermine himself.
Well,
because
then
they've
say
never
that.
worked. Here's all I want him to do. Tell me where they've ever worked. They've never worked. He knows that. I knows that. But what he's trying to do is promise everybody something that they can't have.
Yep.
And the truth is there is no free lunch, just like there's no free bus. Because you know what happens when you have a free bus? There's nobody there to fix it or to drive it. He knows that. I know that. You know that. America does know it. And it's unfortunate that the city of New York, my former home city, is probably going to have to go through this.
And that's exactly what they got to go through. And no, talking about this man promising free, but you don't see President Trump doing no stuff like that. When President Trump's on his campaign trail, you ain't see you talking about, I'm gonna make sure you get free buses, government run growth. He wasn't finna do that because he know he couldn't do that. And that's the thing. That's the difference. That's the difference because everything President Trump promised on his campaign trail, he's delivered on. And you just seen, I showed y'all the video of Kathy Hochul pretty much saying she ain't proving anything that this man promised on the campaign trail. She ain't approving none of it. Taxing the rich, free buses, $30 minimum wage, all of this stuff. She ain't gonna do it. This man just wanted to become mayor, and now that he became mayor, he put this video out. Why did he put this video out before the election? About begging New Yorkers, saying that New Yorkers should donate to him. He did it after he got elected. He posted this video. He posted it after he got elected saying, you know, I did tell y'all to stop sending me money. Now you can start back. There was all his plan the entire time. He knew he couldn't do any of that stuff, but he had to make it sound good to trick people, and obviously it worked because he got elected. So let's go on over here to this government shutdown with old Chuck Schumer seemed like he got a new plan that President Trump was not having. So now that they got what they wanted, they got a communist in New York elected as mayor. And now look at this right here. Say breaking. To reopen the government, Chuck Schumer demands Republicans to pass the Obamacare subsidies for 1 year and commit to negotiate. Like, this is crazy. This is dangerous, setting up healthcare as a midterm issue for the Dems. Republicans can do anything they want with Obamacare if they nuke the filibuster and listen to Trump. President Trump been saying for the longest, nuke the filibuster. I don't know what's taking them so long because if the Democrats get in office, they already said they're going to do it. They already said they're going to nuke the filibuster. That's why President Trump is urging the Republican Senate to do it. And I don't know why it's taking them so long, but listen to what Chuck Schumer had to say.
Reopens. Therefore, we'd like to offer a simple proposal that would reopen the government and extend the ACA premium tax credits simultaneously, and then have the opportunity to start negotiating longer-term solutions to health care costs. Let's do all three. I've spoken with my caucus, and Democrats are offering a very simple compromise. Democrats are ready to clear the way to quickly pass a government funding bill that includes health care affordability. Leader Thune just needs to add a clean 1-year extension of the ACA tax credits to the CR so that we can immediately address rising health care costs. That's not a negotiation. It's an extension of current law, something we do all the time around here. as we all know. But we also...
So instead of them just reopening the government, they keep coming out with new proposals. They just go to show you that they don't care about the American people, because if Chuck Schumer don't really cared about the American people, they'll just reopen the government. They keep putting out all of these proposals that President Trump them is not going to agree to. This is their goal, to keep just throwing out stuff that they know the Republicans is not going to agree to keep the government shut down. Is the reason why President Trump say nuke the freaking filibuster. What's taking so long? I mean, this is insane.
For this, let's create a bipartisan committee that will continue negotiations after the government reopens on reforms ahead of next year's enrollment period to provide long-term certainty that health care costs will be more affordable. This proposal reopens the government and ensures working families who are shopping right now for their health care get certainty and financial relief. While open enrollment has begun, insurers can update their rates after we pass a simple extension of the tax credits. With this approach, we do not negotiate health care in the shutdown, as Leader Thune has maintained he wishes, and the American people get the tax credit extension they want. That is what many of our Republican colleagues have floated over the last 6 weeks as a compromise: a one-year tax credit extension and reforms to the credit beyond that.
This is crazy.
We will agree with the Republican request not to start negotiations until after the government reopens. All Republicans have to do is say yes to extend current law for 1 year. It makes sense. And since what we're proposing is only a simple extension of current law, the Senate could do this within a few hours. This is a reasonable offer that reopens the government, deals with health care affordability, and begins a process of negotiating reforms to the ACA tax credits for the future. Now, the ball is in the Republicans' court. We need Republicans to just say yes.
Like I said, that's the thing. They need Republicans to say yes. And when Republicans can just bypass all of this crap that's coming from Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffrey and just nuke the filibuster, where you don't even need their vote to reopen the government. I don't know how many videos President Trump got to make to tell them this, but we're going to get to it in just a second, where he had to come out again and tell the Republican senators to nuke the filibuster. What is taking y'all so long? Obviously, now that the communists then got elected in New York City as mayor, now here go Chuck Schumer them with another proposal, with a brand new proposal. Look at this.
I yield to Senator Peters.
You were just listening to Senator Chuck Schumer, who was laying out the unified Democratic proposal, was how he framed it, which is a bill to reopen, a resolution to reopen the federal government, as well as a one-year extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies that have been at the heart of the Democratic asks over the course of the last 39 days at this point in time, and then a commitment to negotiate for a longer term.
When he's saying right here, we will pay them not only for today, but for tomorrow and for the entire year, and we won't allow them to be held hostage and be pawns in a political game in the future. And my understanding is the senator from Michigan, on behalf, I suppose, of other Democrats, is objecting to that. Please, please help me understand. This is a straightforward proposal which addresses the concern that millions of Americans have who are headed to food banks and can't pay their rent. And you're coming down here and saying you're going to object because you just want to pay them for yesterday, not for tomorrow or the next day after that. It's about leverage, isn't it? Isn't that what you all been saying? It's about leverage? This isn't leverage. This is the lives of the American people. Senator of Wisconsin has put forward a straightforward proposal to pay people, federal employees, today, tomorrow, and in the future. And what you're essentially saying is, well, I'm fine with paying them for yesterday, but we're not going to pay them for tomorrow or for the day after that, for the future.
That is just crazy. So we see right here say breaking. Senator John Thune just announced they were close to a deal with the Democrats to open the government, but possibly not anymore. And then you can see what Chuck Schumer just said. He said, I think we were, but the Dems have gone in a different direction. So now, since, like I said, the communists got elected, now they coming up with something else new that, like I said, they know that President Trump is not going to agree to. He said, I think, again, being browbeaten by their leadership per punch bowl, bring the filibuster to a vote, Senator, at least for government shutdowns. And so here go President Trump again talking about this.
You know the Democrats are going to do that. And most of you will admit the Democrats are going to do that. So why aren't we doing it? And I think only a foolish person would be against that, especially when you realize that these are crazed people. These people are absolutely crazed, Trump derangement syndrome, whatever it may be. And I am totally in favor of terminating the filibuster. And we would be back to work within 10 minutes after that vote took place. And lots of other good things would happen. And it doesn't make any sense that a Republican would not want to do that.
If they're not going to do that, then it seems like you'd have to make a deal with Democrats to end the shutdown.
Here's some of the things that we'd pass if we terminated the filibuster. Voter ID, no mail-in voting, no cash bail, no men and women's sports, no welfare for illegals. You could go on and on. This is 2 pages of things we'd do if you did that. Without it, I don't know that you passed anything because you can't deal with them. They're really irrational. They really are.
And that's right. And so he laid out things that would, will work. But yet, I don't know what's taking the Republicans so long to do this. And then, like I said, Senator John Thune went on another tantrum today like he ain't playing. So Senator John Thune is going ballistic on Democrats on the Senate floor. This begs the question, why not just nuke the filibuster then? Thune, if I were a Democrat, I would be embarrassed to walk into this building every day, to walk past the men and women of the Capitol Police not getting paid. The junior staffers wondering how they are going to pay their rent. How can Democrats look at any of these people in the eye? And this pretty much like sums up his whole 7-minute, video, him talking about this. So, I mean, it is just absolutely insane, man. But even Chuck Schumer, pretty much saying he's not going to cave to Chuck Schumer demands. It's just not going to work.
We have a shutdown, as you probably know, because the Democrats have gone, they're crazy. They're crazy. But they don't care if they hurt the country. But we've approved it 14 times. We've approved a opening up 14 times, and they keep rejecting it. And I guess maybe they will again. Let's see what happens. They want to have a lot of bad things happen, bad things for our country. We're not going to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into our country illegally. We're not going to do it. To people came from prisons. They came from mental institutions. They're drug dealers. They want to give them medical care.
And it's just not going to work. See, President Trump just pretty much laid out that's what they want in order to reopen the government. Now, like I said, they did say that. They wish something that they still want on top of what Chuck Schumer just said a few minutes ago. So, I mean, stuff like this is just absolutely insane, man. So, like I said, they definitely got to do something about this. And President Trump comes out again and say, now President Trump is refusing to let it go. He wants to teach Republicans how to win. If Republicans kill the filibuster, they sail to victory for many years to come. If they don't, disaster waiting to happen. And you can see that's exactly what President Trump said right here on True Social. So, I mean, we still waiting on the Republican to see what the Republican is going to say. Now, I did want to show y'all this about the American Airlines executive just nuked Chuck Schumer, demanding he stop inflicting suffering on millions at once.
I want to thank all of the federal workers, all of our air traffic controllers, our TSA officers, our CBP officers, and all the people that support them for coming in and working like they are without pay. It is incredible what they're doing and ensuring that our aviation system is safe. Now, I also thank our team who's doing everything during this shutdown here to ensure that we are minimizing the disruption and making sure that our customers are always the center of our focus and attention on how we manage through this. But let me be clear. We need to get the government reopened. We need to get this aviation system back, and I implore our members of Congress to get together and get the government reopened so we can get back to normalcy. Aviation is super critical to this nation. It's super critical to our traveling public.
So, I mean, they started coming out there and say Senator John Thune had just said the Senate is likely to stay for the weekend and try to reopen the government if Democrats block the vote again. Thune said, we've given them everything they asked for. Just nuke the filibuster. Easy. And like I said, everybody's saying the same thing. Republicans, you won't win without nuking the filibuster. It's simple. We nuke it and win, or they nuke it and we lose. Pick. So at this point, like, do the Republican, do they care? I mean, we just have to see. But I do want y'all to check out what Senator John Kennedy had to say about all of this, especially Chuck Schumer, what he's proposing now, because Senator John Kennedy did not hold back.
What is your response to Chuck Schumer's proposal here to keep those ACA benefits going for another year, bipartisan committee to work on those, and reopen the government with the clean CR?
God, please give me patience, because if you give me strength, I'm going to need bail money. What Senator Schumer is suggesting is that we do the dumbest thing possible that won't work. Stupid should hurt more. Senator Schumer says we should just extend the status quo for a year. What does that mean? That means that we would have to take $35 billion of taxpayer money and give it directly to the health insurance companies without any commitment of lowering premiums. How is that going to reduce health care costs? How's that going to reduce premiums? The health care companies are going to take $35 billion from the taxpayers and put it into their pockets. I mean, duh. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Senator Schumer is thinking. Earth to Chuck. I mean, earth to Chuck. Am I going to vote for this? The short answer is no. The long answer is hell no. I think we're just going to have to get used to the fact that we've been in a shutdown. We're going to be in a shutdown for a while. I voted 14 times to lift the shutdown. The Democrats and Senator Rand Paul have voted 14 times to keep the government shut down. We're just going to be here for a while.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like what Senator Schumer just proposed is really any different than where Democrats have been all along. They wanted $1.5 trillion. You say $36 billion. I guess there's a lot of different numbers on this package. But to keep the Obamacare benefits were expanded during COVID. And of course, once you give something, very hard to claw it back. So that's where we are right now. And so the impact is of having that extension pulled away is making people's new health care benefits rise. But as you say, it's not fixing the problem in terms of lowering costs. Is there any, I just spoke with the former Governor Sununu, and he said, what they need to do is accept Senator Thune's next proposal and agree on it and get Democrats across the board on it. What do you think that is going to look like?
He's just going to bring up the same resolution that he's brought up 14 times. Look, if we've learned anything during this shutdown, we've learned that the Obamacare Affordable Care Act exchanges, they're not working. They're not lowering health care costs. Extending the status quo will just be putting fresh paint on rotten wood.
So
why would we want to do that?
Excuse me. President Trump has a solution, and he talked about it again today. Are you willing to vote to eliminate the filibuster, Senator?
Well, President Trump has made his position, at least to me, abundantly clear. I talked to him this morning. He makes a persuasive argument, but here's in essence what he's going to say. or what he has said, rather. None of us want to get rid of the filibuster, but the Democrats are going to do it as soon as they're back in charge, so we might as well do it now. My response to the president this morning, after listening politely, was, well, the quickest way, the best way to prevent all that is let's don't put the Democrats back in charge. There's no guarantee that the Democrats are going to take over the Senate in the midterm elections or even after that. The filibuster only pertains to the Senate. It doesn't pertain to the House. So to keep the Democrats from doing that, we just hold the Senate, which we're planning on doing.
Well, that's going to be a big project, obviously, for Republicans for the next 18 months. Senator Kennedy, thank you very much. Always good to hear from you, sir. We'll see where this goes on this Friday afternoon.
Now, like I said, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out. And like I said before, you heard what Senator John Kennedy had to say about all of this. And like I said, I'll keep y'all up to date as more information come across my desk. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.